Swamini ji, you have to unmute yourself.
Vatu Bhaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are in a Purva Pakshi party. Okay, and it is going to get a lot more fun. I think samosas are about to come in this party, and so let us see. We have been dismissing some of the things they have said diligently and fully, but it looks like they don't stop. They keep advancing newer and newer, and unfortunately for us, more and more convincing sounding arguments which promise nothing other than sleepless nights. Because like, what is this, how, why is this not clear, why should this not, why can't Brahman have entered this way? Some of them are so convincing. As I said, we have to be very very clear, don't take anything for granted, and just go, we go through the arguments one by one, and then some of the khandanam means what? The critique is right there, and some critiques are going to come later. But regardless of whether the critique is going to come now or later, it is critical that we be very very clear to just, even if we don't understand, we just see what they are saying, and then provisionally we just sort of say, okay, I don't have a comeback yet, but I will, don't worry. And so the Adi Shankara will guide the way. And he's very naughty because, really speaking, there are no Purva Pakshis. He himself has in his mind created this party for us to, we can't say enjoy, for us to get afflicted and then come back. Because see, the knowledge in the beginning is not stable. Everything sounds good, and that's what everybody thinks, everything sounds good. So you come to Swami Dayananda ashram, and then whatever they are teaching there sounds very good. Go to another ashram, whatever they are teaching there also sounds good. So in the beginning, that discerning capacity is very manda. Manda means what? Yeah, like a little glowworm. The Sanskrit word for glowworm is khadyota. Okay, it is like a little khadyota. But we have to make this discernment like Bhanu, like the shining sun. Anybody that has even a slightest whiff of duality, we say, aha, this is why you are wrong. Okay, and so we saw some preposterous ways in which Brahman could have entered the Jagat. What were they? Brahman has become powder, like the churna and the lump. That was the latest, the latest and the last one. And before that, who knows what else was there? Each one was more preposterous than the other. Now there is a series of things like this that are going to come. Now that you have been duly warned, let us go forward. If you are following the book, I'm on the first thing in page 381, and oh, I didn't open the Bhashya for everybody else online. Let me see how to do that. Uh, Brahmanandavalli. No, that's not it. One second. There we go. Brahmananda Valli with Bhashya. Okay, there we go. Except it made a big splash but didn't open. Here we are. Okay. So if you are following this, I think it's. Can somebody tell me where we are online, please? Is it
281 Swamiji.
281? Okay. Yeah, so open to page 281. And which point? Can somebody tell? Which number?
84, Swamiji. At the
Okay.
top of it.
84? Okay. 281. Okay. 84. So, evam kamah aptakama. Yeah. Tatra eva. 85. 85. We are on 85. Tatra etat chintyam. Yeah. Oh, no, that we have finished. That we have finished. Yeah. It's not 85.
86 Swamiji, 86, 87 we
Yeah, we
85.
have finished. Yeah.
87.
So, no. Katham 80.
It's Katham Tarhi Swamiji.
Everybody is
Katham
wrong.
Tarhi.
All of you are wrong. Like the Purva Pakshis. The whole lot of you are wrong. It is not 84, it is not 85, it is not 86, it is not 87, it is not 88, it is 89. Katham tarhi
Katham Tarhi.
pravesha syat yuktascha praveshah shrutatvat tadeva anupravishat iti. Okay, so this is now we are getting into a soup. Okay, yeah. So this person, this Purva Pakshi, has a lot of shraddha. Okay, in what? In the Shruti. So says Katham tarhi pravesha syat. So because there must be pravesha. Because why? It is called pravesha Shruti. Because it already says Tadeva anupravishat iti shravanat. So we have heard Tadeva anupravishat, it has entered. And that only it entered, that too in the past tense. So that means the entry already took place. Perhaps Brahman didn't enter that person's brain, that's all. Every other place Brahman must have entered, because what he's going to say later is going to be very, very interesting. So, lot of Shraddha is there, lot of Bhakti is there. Shruti has got what? Pramanyam, means the status of Pramana. It can never, ever be what? Wrong. So, if it cannot be wrong, we have to find a meaning. So therefore what? We will make Brahman grow some arms and legs. Brahman will grow arms and legs? Does Brahman have any hands and legs? No. Okay, there is a unanimous no. Why? Why not? Because it has no form. If it has no form, how can it have limbs? But here, the Shraddha obviously is one-sided. Okay, so the Shraddha is literal Shraddha on the written word, but not on the meaning of the word Brahman. And even on the other Shrutis which say, which is Nama Rupa Titaha, it is free of name form. It is free of all this. It is Sarva Vyapi. It is all this we have seen. Yattadadrekshamagrahyam avarnamagotram achakshuhu tadapani padam, and all this person has conveniently forgot. That which has no eyes, that which cannot be seen and itself doesn't have eyes, that which does not have hands and legs, is not an object to be grasped by hands and legs either. Conveniently, one side it has forgotten, but has a lot of Shraddha. So he says, what does he say? He says, well, if the Shruti says it has entered, it meaning Brahman, then we have to respect that. Om Namah Shivaya, we have to respect that. And how to respect that? We have to find a meaning. so that this is not compromised, because we have to have Shraddha. Come on, guys, we have to have Shraddha for the Shruti, and so therefore we have to not compromise this explanation. Okay, so then what does the Brihaspati say? Brihaspati means the god of knowledge, but here used sarcastically, because you'll see what he says. So he says, so why should we see this? Shrutatvat. Shrutatvat means because we have heard. It is in the Shruti, Shravanat. Tadeva anupravishat iti. Savayavam eva astu tarhi savayavatvat mukhe हस्तप्रवेशवत् नामरूपकार्ये जीवात्मना अनुप्रवेशः युक्तः एव इति चेत्. Yeah, you saw now why I called this fellow a Brihaspati? Yeah. Okay. So says, look, see, we cannot compromise on this, because Shruti says it has entered. So we have to find out a proper meaning of, we have to find that how it has entered. We have to make sure. We have to absolutely make sure that of its entry and how it has entered. So here, let me give an example of how it could enter. But before that, we have to sort of make a few compromises. It has to just a little bit. You can't take everything too seriously, otherwise it will be all so boring. So we have to make a few compromises. Like what? Savayavam eva astu tarhi. So therefore there is only one possibility of its entering, because enter it did. It means Brahman. What did it enter? Jagat. So Brahman entered the Jagat. This is what Shruti says, that has to be protected. That has to be protected at all costs. We cannot compromise. And so therefore what should we do? We should make Brahman just like us, with hands and legs. Okay. Savayava. Avayavaihi saha vartate savayavam. Avayava means limbs. Okay. So avayavaihi, along with limbs, vartate, that which exists along with limbs is called savayava. Saha becomes savayava. Sa, it becomes sa. Okay. And here it already starts with a, avayava. So sa plus a, savayava, it becomes. So it's a kind of a compound. It's a kind of a samasa. So avayavaihi saha vartate. So why not make Brahman the one that is along with body parts, then along with parts, then the entry is pakka, no problem. Yeah, no problem at all. Because then one part can enter another part. When at dinner time, what happens? The hand enters the mouth. Okay. Both are what? You. Correct? Yeah. Both are you. Okay. So if this person is called Rama, Rama is the person. And so Rama's hand, one part of Rama, enters Rama's mouth. Another part of Rama. Why not take it that way? Then everybody is happy. We have another wonderful, samadhi moment. We can just be in immersion. What a brilliant explanation I have given. The person is saying, shabash, pat himself on the back, herself on the back, pat, pat. Why? Because obviously we cannot compromise the Shruti that says it enters, but it hasn't entered his head. That you cannot compromise the other Shrutis that say Brahman is Niravayava, not Sa Avayava. Doesn't have this thing, that doesn't know. Savayavatvat, because we have to accept Brahman as having parts, because otherwise it will be an inconvenient Shruti sentence hanging there, and this person cannot handle inconvenience. And two motivations here. Cannot handle inconvenience, one, meaning any loose ends. Okay, doesn't matter if I unravel other understandings, but right now I'm looking at it through this one particular lens, and this is how I'm going to go. So this person has two features. The person's emotional makeup. the character, personality. So first makeup is cannot handle loose ends. Everything has to be tied up together nicely. And then the second problem here is what entered is not Brahman, but what? Jiva. They want to make that. Why? Because Vishishtadvaita, Advaita. Sorry, not Advaita, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Bheda, Bheda, Abheda, Abhedavada. You know? So, little bit of Bheda, little bit of Abheda, little bit of Amurta, little bit of Murta. How is this possible? No, it is possible because it is Bhagavan. Bhagavan can do anything. So like this, they explain away the things, but here the person is committed to the jiva entering into the jagat. Brahman cannot enter because Brahman is Ananta Kalyana Guna Nilaya, the abode of endless virtues. What does the jagat have any virtues? No. Does the jiva have any virtues? No. Brahman created the whole jagat. What can the jiva create? Confusion, like right now. Okay, so therefore it cannot be Brahman that entered. This is so, in order to fit, you see, there is, when children are 1 or 2 years old, the parents buy them these blocks, different shapes, square, round, triangular, and along with the blocks there will be the same shaped holes. Okay, so the child's mental development, it is good for the child's mental development. So then you put a round peg in the round hole. Then you put a square peg in the square hole. Then the triangular one. After a little experimentation, the child figures it out and feels very happy, claps, etc. But here the Purva Pakshi is trying to squeeze the round peg into the square hole. And it's not fitting at all. Even a child can grasp it, but this person is not, is trying to make the argument. There is not an argument or a receptivity. There is already a foregone conclusion. What is the conclusion? Only Jiva can enter the Jagat. How can Brahman enter? That would be sacrilegious. Because other name forms even Brahman can enter, but this body is Jiva, away from Brahman. Why? Anubhutatvat, because it is what is experienced. And so Brahman cannot enter. So any cost they have to drag in the jiva. Okay. And so this is why this is a far-fetched explanation, because he has to squeeze in the jiva. Let us see how he does it. So then savayavatvat mukhe hastapraveshatvat. So mukha is there, mouth is there, and it is wide open. And then that is also savayava. Mukha is avayava, mouth is avayava, hand is what? Avayava. And so mukhe hasta praveshat, because the entry of the hand in the mouth. So similarly, so one savayava can enter another savayava. This is the first premise. One thing that has parts can enter another thing that has got parts. Now this is the example. Look at the Darshtanta now. So similarly, likewise, in this Jagat, which is Srishtam, created Jagat, so Brahman entered, means it can only happen in the form of Jiva. Why? Brahman has to become Savayava, because it has to enter another Savayava, which is Nama Rupatmakam Jagat, which is Jagat in the form of name and form. Jagat is already what? Created. Jagat is Savayava, full of parts, limbs, names, forms. So then Brahman cannot enter, it being nameless and formless. So another limbed thing can only enter. So therefore, why not say that, that this Brahman entered in the form of Jiva? Solves all the problems. We can in fact pack up the class right now. Nothing more to say. Solves every single problem. Jagat is variegated, let it be. It is Savayava, we have seen. So to enter the Savayava, another Savayava we have to take, and Brahman being Bhagavan can become Savayava. Did he not create the variegated Jagat? So he himself, she can become Savayava and enter, just like the hand entering the mouth. I told you it sounds so convincing, right? But there is one problem, small problem. Why can the hand enter the mouth? Because there is space. If your mouth is already full, can the hand enter the mouth? No. There is space. That's why there is space to enter. Now, there is no place that Brahman is not. No space exists where Brahman is not. Why not? Space is Brahman. Hello. No time exists where Brahman is not. Why? Time is Brahman. Space is Brahman. In between hand and mouth, Brahman. Hand is Brahman. Mouth is Brahman. Space is Brahman. Space in the mouth is Brahman. So yes, your hand can easily enter into the mouth. But then, because Brahman is spaceless, there is no way that there is only one problem with your argument. And what is that problem? It cannot enter the mouth. Why? Because there is no space that Brahman is not. The space of the mouth, even if you want to take this far-fetched analogy, the space of the mouth is also what? Brahman. Hand is Brahman, mouth is Brahman, everything is Brahman. So therefore, here is the iti chet, here is the rebuttal, I think. I hope it is the rebuttal. Yeah. So then, next one. न अशून्यत्वात् न हि कार्यात्मना परिणत नामरूप कार्य देशव्यतिरेकेण आत्मशून्यः प्रदेशः अस्ति यं प्रविशेत् जीवात्मना. Yeah. So the rebuttal does not even bother to knock off the jiva argument. As I told you, some things are going to be rebutted right now, certain things will be rebutted a little later. Why? It is not even bothered to do that, because this person is a mandu, won't listen, will not listen. Mandu means stubborn, will not listen. Mandu and Manda also, will not listen. And so that part, forget it. You have to just make the person see what is it that it is possible for them to see. So the first, it is given, what is that? Na. Na means no, not at all, sir. Not, you are wrong. Why are you wrong? You are wrong because ashunyatvat. Very nicely, two fellows are knocked off, in the in the Ramayana war, these Vanaras were given apparently some little bit of rudiment, that at least somebody tried to give them rudimentary training with bows and arrows to fight the war. Okay, and after a while they just could not get it. They used the arrow to scratch their backs and they just broke the bow and throw it away. They threw it away. They did not, they refused to be trained. And everybody got worried. They said, you're not doing push-ups, you're not doing anything, you're not doing the, what is that, artillery and all this, you're not doing any kind of demos, we are not having any rehearsals, how will you fight? They said, no, don't worry, we got this, leave it to us, don't worry about this. And so when the war happened, they had no shastras, They had no astras, nothing. What did they do? They took one Rakshasa from Ravana's camp, and then they took another one and bashed them against each other and threw them both away and went to the next thing. Okay. So that's why Hanumanji slept during the Mahabharata war. He found it very boring. Everybody just like this, bows and arrows and missiles and nagastras and mantra powered missiles. He got very bored. He said this is mostly boring, and most of the time he is purported to have slept atop Arjuna's chariot. So here it's like knocking off two, we can't call them Rakshasas, poor things, they may be us only, so we should be very charitable and give them a hug. Okay, and so these people also, what Adi Shankara does, knocks them against each other, and two fellows are knocked off with one particular word, na ashunyatvat. Because there are such people called Shunyavadin. Shunyavadin means, it's like Brahman is like a onion. Peel, 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 peel. Then what? Nothing. Not very appealing. Okay, this argument is not very appealing because in the beginning when I came to the ashram, I was suffering because I thought I was separate from everything else. That was the cause of my suffering. That's why I came to the ashram. That's why I came to Vedanta to study. But now what has happened? Now I come to the ashram and find out I am zero. At least to my pet dog, I was a hero. Now I'm non-existent completely. Total zero. Imagine the depression. So therefore, this is not accepted at all. So then, Ashunyatvat, why does he bring this argument? He brings this for two reasons, and we have to see the reasons carefully. The first reason is Shunya means space here. There is no space where Brahman is not. And then he doesn't want this Purva Pakshi party to get out of hand by the entry of the non-existent ones. Okay, they say everything is Shunya, but they make a lot of ruckus about it. If everything is Shunya, they too should be non-existent, but that they should behave as though they are non-existent, but they don't. The Shunyavadis, how do we say in English? I don't know. Shunyavadi only. So non-existent. Though the Buddha, certain Buddhists, not all people in Buddhism, but certain Buddhists say this, that they are, what is that? They are, the truth of the Jagat is non-existent. But then what is this I notion? It is mithya. Then what is this Sakshi? Sakshi is also mithya. There is only mithya. They don't have satyam. Mithya without satyam is dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Because mithya itself becomes satyam. That is why it is dangerous. So then, to have a little control over the party, and so that it doesn't get out of hand, where they say that entry of Brahman is not possible. Why? Because it doesn't exist. So a non-existent person cannot enter this room. Can they enter the room? Absolutely not. So if a non-existent person cannot enter the room, Brahman is what? Shunya. Therefore it cannot enter. So he wants to preclude that line of thinking. So that is the first reason he gives. And then another word, another meaning of the word ashunyatvat. Ashunya means what? There is no space. That is what it is. Ashunya means it is purna. Purna means it is full of itself. It fills up everything. It fills you up, it fills everything up, it fills the body, mind, sense complex up, it fills up everything. Like a river, as it flows, any kind of valleys, nooks, corners, holes, it fills up as it goes. Similarly, Brahman is like that. Nahi, so there is no place where the Brahman is not. Na shunyatvat. So if there is no place where Brahman is not, how can Brahman enter what it already has, where it already is? Can somebody enter? You can't enter. If you are already in this room, can you enter the room? No. Asambhavat. And the argument is Ashunyatvat, because Brahman already populates whatever there is, Brahman populates. And if Brahman populates everything, then how can it enter? So this entry cannot be in this form. Okay? And then he explains this further. Nahi karyatmana parinata namarupa karya desha vyatirekena atmashunyah pradeshah asti yam pravishet jivatmana. So this is a full sentence. Let us take it little by little. So let us take it this. Nahi, not indeed, and then you skip to Atmashunya Pradeshah Asti. Can you understand that? So nahi, not indeed, and then what? Atmashunya. Oh, but we were talking about Brahman. Hello, Brahman is what? Atma. Yes, Brahman is I. There is no place possible for the I to not be there. There is no place where the I is not there. Pradesha means place. There is no place. Atma Shunya Pravesha, Pradesha means, is there a place where the Atma is not? Is there a place? No. Is there a place where Atma doesn't exist? No. Because otherwise the first part of this Valli will be all gone to waste. Tasmadvad etasmad atmana akasha sambhutah akashad vayuh vayoragnihi agnerapah adhyah prithvi prithivya oshadhayah oshadhibhyonnam annat purushah Savaesha Purushonnara Samayah Tenaisha Purnaha. That's what it is saying. Tena Brahmana, Tena Atmana, Esha Purushaha Purnaha. After listening to that, what were you doing? Were you asleep? After listening to that and after spending so much time on that, how can you come to this conclusion about hand eating, like the eating hand, the food of the hand goes into the mouth? How can you come up with that? Nahi, not indeed. First we understand this portion. Not indeed is a place which is Atmashunya. Atmashunya place is not there. Why? Niravayavatvat, because Atma doesn't have any kind of a thing. Any kind of avayava. So it cannot enter anything, and all besides there is no place where the I is not. So therefore, ashunyatvat, there is no shunya. There is no place where the Atma is not, and so therefore, karyatmana parinata namarupa, that we'll see later. So there is no place where it is not. First we have to understand that. Atma shunya pradeshah nasti. Devoid of Atma, there is no place. So without being Atma, there is no place. In fact, what we call a place has the presence of Atma. So therefore, you say Savayava, I say Niravayava, and then what? It is not what I say or what you say, it is what the Shruti says that should matter. It should not matter what I think or what you think, and you cannot bend Brahman into growing some limbs quickly, and then giving it some magic potion and asking it to grow some, limbs, because that is not going to work. And so that, yadyat savayavam tat srishtam. This is a maxim. That which has parts, savayava, avayava, you need not take limbs. Only in the hand and mouth it is limbs, but otherwise you can take it as parts. Yadyat savayavam, that which has parts, this is a maxim, a nyaya. Yadyat savayavam tat srishtam. So because Brahman is what? Niravayava. It doesn't have parts. So then we can take it as, but the srishtam jagat, this jagat which is created, I see has lots of parts. Okay? I see certain places which have no vijana, which has nothing there. I say, oh, in this part of the room there is nobody there. I can say that. Okay, this part people are sitting there, in that part people are not sitting. We can say that. But the thing is, we can say that of the Jagat which has parts. So then here is the logic. We can use this logic to help ourselves. Yad yad savayavam, that which has parts, we should take it as put together, created. Either by a human being put together or by Bhagavan put together, it is created. It is not uncreated. Yad yad savayavam tat tat srishtam. So what is the hetu? We have to have a reason. Savayavatvat, because it has parts. And now we need an example to clinch it. What is the example? Ghatavat, like a pot. Yad yad savayavam tat tat srishtam. Whatever has whatever has parts, it is put together. That's why it falls apart. The whole Jagat, that's why it falls apart. Whatever has parts, it falls apart. Whatever is put together falls apart. Okay, that's why Brahman doesn't fall apart, because it is not put together, it is free of parts. That's why Brahman has to remain free of parts, regardless of what this Purva Pakshi thinks. This brilliant Purva Pakshi, in order to fit the whole, is making something else go inside something else, which is not going. The shape is all wrong. Okay, and so therefore, yad yad savayavam tat tat srishtam. Why? Savayavatvat, because it has parts. Like what? What is the example? What?
Ghatavat.
Pot. Yes, ghatavat. Like even a pot. Like even pot. So Savayavam alone is the Jagat. There is nothing else. Look at Mrit, clay, differentiated. That also has got so many churna, all these powders, this, that. Everything has got avayava. So the whole Srishtat, this Srishtam Jagat is got Savayava. Savayavatvam is the quality, the attribute of the Jagat is that it has so many parts, and those parts are into even more parts. You just look at the medical science. Before, you just had one doctor who came home, which was very nice, and then gave you some kashaya, some mixture, horrible tasting liquid, something it would be, and then it would have some doses on it, and then your mother watched you till you drank the whole thing, and you were not allowed to spit it out. And then this is how most of the people in the earlier generation grew up. Now what? Now the doctor doesn't do anything, just writes, oh, prescription, no, the name of another doctor. Okay, why? There is a specialist. Then you go to the specialist will say, oh, interesting, oh, fever, oh, okay, very interesting, okay, I think we need to do some tests, and then the results will come. Okay, then you go back again, and then there is the name of one more specialist, and that one says, oh, even more interesting. And then please consult this one. So there is even one person called podiatrist, meaning foot doctor. And if the problem is determined to not be in the foot, it is in the ankle, you have to go to another person. Okay, so nowadays, because of the specialization, we know less and less. We know less and less. We think we know more. We think we know more and more, but we know less and less. Actually, we could argue this way. We know more and more of less and less. Okay? Previously, we knew less and less of more and more. Now we know more and more of less and less. All right? So, this is how it is. So, this Jagat is Savayavatvam is an attribute that squarely rests with the Jagat, not with Atma. Never. Why? Because Atma has not become the Jagat. It may have entered Entry is also within heavy quotes, that we'll see later how this entry is, but it may have, so to speak, entered the Jagat somehow. How, we still have to determine. After 3 weeks of this, we are still determining how it is entering, but this is what this is. Atma is Niravayava. Okay, so then before this Jagat became the Jagat, what was it? Atma. What was it? Niravayava, undifferentiated. So the whole process of creation, what we call creation, is going again, within quotes, going from being undifferentiated to differentiated. That's all it is. Undifferentiated to variegated. Same thing. That's all it is. There is nothing else other than that. And so therefore, that means what? If something has from an undifferentiated space become differentiated, so to speak, what do we say? That it's already there. Atma is already there. That Atma, which was undifferentiated before, is now manifest as what? Jagat, without undergoing any change. That same Atma. And so, without undergoing any change, it is manifest as the Jagat. Why? Because it is in the form of Karya. Karyatma we call. Same Atma, it is Karyatma. It's in the form of Karyatma. And then this Karyatma in the form of what? Vayu, Agni, Apaha, 5 elements we have seen. So because of all this it is there. So now he says, this is what is called Karyatma. Now you understood what is Karyatma. So this is why we are taking it bit by bit, we are chewing this sentence. Okay. So Karyatmana Parinata. Parinata means what? This Namarupa, in the form of Namarupa. In the form, Parinata means as though modified. As though modified in the form of what? Namarupa. Namarupa, and then Desha. Desha, time, Kala, etc. So Namarupa, Desha, because this is what Desha is there, Kala we have to also bring in. So then what is that? That's all Karya. Namarupa is Karya, then Desha is Karya, Kala is Karya, Tad Vyatirekena, without that, without the Atma, these things are not possible. So therefore, there is no Pradesha other than the Karya Atma, which is Akasha, Vayu, etc., which is what? Brahman. Everything is Brahman. So, which is other than Akasha, which doesn't have name and form, all the other Namarupa is born, as it were, of Brahman alone. It's born of Brahman. It is in that form alone. It has as though modified. Only Akasha is space. Okay, other than space, no space is available for Atma to go. And space being non-separate from Atma, space is also not available. Where is the space? What space are we talking about? Oh, part space, this space, that space. That's already occupied. So supposing if we were to say that, let's forget the Atma here, let us say that space is going to enter the mouth. Is it possible for space to enter? Space is already in the mouth. So you can't have space enter the mouth, and you can't have space enter the room. Why? Because space is already in the room. You can't have space even enter a small thimble. Why? Because thimble space is there, part space is there, head space is there. That's why you say spaced out. Head space is there, mouth space is there, ear space is there, everything space is already there. So if Brahman is what? Like space. Atma is like space. So how can it enter that which already it has as though entered? So it cannot enter itself. So there is no other space available. Only if the space is available, then we are happy to make it enter, no problem. But Atma Shunya Pradesha Nasti. The idea is there is only one space, and that space is what? Brahman. Yeah, that space is Brahman. And that space is what? Karya. And then what is this? Karana. So this Karya is Karana Avyatireka. You yourself have said. You Avyatireka means non-separate. You have said Karya and Karana. You yourself said that earlier, last week. Go back and look at the notes. Meaning the other Purva Pakshi. So then there is no place left out for your limbed Brahman with hands and legs to crawl and enter in the form of a Jiva. Okay? Yeah. Atma Shunya Pradesha Nasti. Okay, so now the Purva Pakshi is trying to understand this, okay? Like going, like, you know, how we see in comics, like little birds going around, cheep, 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 and the person has got some kind of a little police siren on, you know, got hit, you know, like a little red bump on the head. So it's like that, you know, it's just like, what hit me? Okay, yeah, you make sense. All right, I understand that I might have lost this round and I just need to relax a little bit. This Vedanta is too much. I need to just go and lie down. I'm not even interested in movies. I'm not even interested in going to restaurant. I just want to lie down. I want to have a little shanti. This is too much. Where are you taking me? What did you do just now to me? I don't understand. But somehow it made sense. And so I'm just kind of reeling from this. Okay. So we let this Purva Pakshi rest and thinking, okay, we can also rest. No. The other Purva Pakshi wets a hanky in the river and revives this Purva Pakshi. All right. Yeah. Come on, get up. We have work to do. We can't let them get away with this. Our Jiva argument. Long live Jiva. Long live Jiva. This is what we have to do. We have to maintain the individuality and the separation of the Jiva at all costs. And so therefore, we cannot live, even though they did not refute the Jiva. You see, they did not refute the Jiva argument. We have, this is our time, this is our place. You know, there may not be any space without Brahman, but this is the space for us to enter. He just repeatedly rings the hanky and then just fans this one, which is the one who is out cold after this argument. Fans this person, come on, wake up. We have to do a little more hanky-panky. Let us go with it. We can't just rest in peace, and we can't let them rest in peace either. So we have to, I'm having a very brilliant idea and I need your help. Oh, really? No, the other one is slowly coming around. All right. I'm in. Okay, count me in. What is your brilliant idea, sir? Please pray tell. Okay, look, it's just all in the semantics. Semantics means hermeneutics. Hermeneutics means semantics. Semantics means it's all in how you use the words. Okay, so we just carefully use the words. And just like they just use the words from the Shruti, this Shruti, that Shruti, they just heap on you. You also do the same thing. Simple. And so it says, Tat Srishtva Tadeva Anupravishat. How many tats are there? 2 tats are there. Who is to say, you know, who on earth is to say that Tat is standing for the Jagat, Tat Srishtva, Tat Jagat Srishtva, Tadeva Anupravishat. Okay. So who is to say this? It is Tat, it's a pronoun. It never said Jagat Srishtva. Tat Jagat Eva Anupravishat. It creates, so the Tat, if it stands for Jagat, then, you know, then that is their contention. Because it just says Tat here. Tadeva anupravishat. But generally, what do we know the word tat by? What is that? Brahman! Yippee! We are also bringing in other Shrutis. It's not just them. Quoting other Shrutis, we can also do it like that. That is what? Brahman. So, why not we say the Jagat entered Brahman? Everybody is happy. Yeah. And what does every jiva want? To enter Brahman. Don't you want to enter Brahman? All the jivas say yes. Yes. Everybody is happy. And then the Shruti is validated. Effect entered the cause. Like what? Give me an example. Pot. Yeah. Pot has entered clay. Pot has entered clay. Effect has entered the cause. It's just all compromise. There is no compromise in knowledge, okay? Never agree to anybody just to become popular. This is not a popularity contest. Ye bhi theek hai, wo bhi theek hai. This is not, this is also okay, that is also okay. This is, that is fine in friendships. You agree, Yeah. If you have an in-law, like a brother-in-law, who says 2 plus 2 is equal to 7, and you have to live with that fellow, every weekend he comes to visit, then you say, theek hai, okay, you just to keep the peace. But you don't start adding like that. You tolerate the person, not their opinions. You tolerate the person because they are part of the family. You can't throw them out. And you know that whichever dinner they come to, they are not going to keep quiet. They're going to, air out their views. Even if they might be making no sense or totally unwelcome, they're going to air it out. So you just let them talk. But you don't become like that, correct? So here too, Tadeva anupravishat. The thing is, the pot enters the clay. Why? It has gained oneness with the clay. Therefore, Tat stands for the first Tat, Tat Srishtva. The first Tat stands for Brahman. Brahman, Tat Srishtva. Then the second Tat, stands for Jagat. So the Jagat anupravishat. Jagat entered Brahman. Effect has entered cause. Let us look at this mad argument, okay? Totally, completely, fully bonkers, okay? Yeah. So, Karanam eva chet pravishet जीवात्मत्वं जह्यात् यथा घटः मृत् प्रवेशे घटत्वं जहाति अय्यो don't repeat that, okay? So yeah, it's like when you have a Bhashya repetition, when you have a Bhashya repetition mindset, it's all in that tone. If that tone comes, you feel like repeating. Okay, so that purposely I said in that tone only. And so now what is this? Now this is some other completely flabbergasting argument, for lack of a better word, totally flabbergasting argument, makes no sense at all. And let us look at this. Okay. Karanam eva iti chet. Let us look at iti chet. Iti chet means what if. Karanam eva chet. There is a chet hidden there. Okay. Karanam eva chet. Chet. If it is, suppose. Chet means if. Chet means suppose. Okay. So let us presume. What shall we presume? Karanam eva. So the pravishet. What pravishet? The effect. Effect is not talked about here. We have to infer. Karanam eva chet pravishet. Maybe the word effect is not there. So suppose the effect enters the cause, then everybody is happy. Vishishtadvaitins, the qualified dualist is happy, the dualist is happy, and the Advaitin who is keeping on talking about non-separation, they are also happy. Why? Because when the pot enters the clay, don't ask how, okay? Don't bother your head. You'll get a migraine if you keep thinking too much, okay? Don't ask how. Just go with the flow. So if when the pot enters the clay, then potness is gone. It has gained what? Oneness with clay. What do we all want? Oneness. When do we want it? Now. This is what we want. That is why we have come here to study Taittiriya Upanishad, because we want oneness. We don't want separation. Separation causes anxiety. Separation causes sorrow. I don't want either fear or sorrow. That is why I'm here. And so therefore, now aren't we all happy? Aren't you feeling better all of a sudden? Why? Because I showed you. It's not the cause entering the effect. The effect is moving towards the cause and entering the cause. So the effect is no longer poor, sad, lonely, by itself, alienated, angry, and neglected, abused effect. Jiva has entered Brahman. Jai ho. This is wonderful. Jiva has entered Brahman. Effect has entered cause. See, they'll never let go of the Jiva. Now, even after entering Brahman, there are 4 kinds of onenesses. Okay? Yeah. Not just, there is not that it is a kind of it just boggles the mind. Sayojyam, Sanidhyam, Samipyam, Sarupyam. You don't ask me to distinguish and all. Yeah. Sayujyam becoming, entering Bhagavan. There are people, Vishishtadvaitis talk about entering Bhagavan. Like gastroenteritis, okay? Bhagavan will have to take some Imodium. That's what, some medicine. If the Bhakta enters Bhagavan, can only enter like a virus or a bacteria. That's what will happen. This is Sayujyam. Samipyam means you stick to Bhagavan and sit right close to Bhagavan. Some people like to do that, They go to a puja, they have to sit right close to Bhagavan. The Murti, I mean, yeah. So then you sit right close, you stick to Bhagavan, and then where? In Vaikuntha, in heaven. You stick right close to Bhagavan and sit there, and that is what is called Samipyam. Sarupyam, you keep on staring at Bhagavan, and you try to cultivate, and with the grace, with the benediction, you become, you have certain features of Bhagavan. You develop a certain, what is that called? Some kind of, you look like Bhagavan. You are still not Bhagavan, but there is a certain amity and a certain kind of you just by osmosis, you take on certain qualities of Bhagavan. And then what is left out? Sayujyam, Samipyam, Sarupyam, Sannidhyam. Sannidhyam is also like Samipyam. So Sannidhyam means you're in the lap of Bhagavan. That's what. You just, the other fellow is sitting at the feet, sitting close. You are in the lap. Okay, you are much more secure because you have Sannidhi. You are right there. Okay, so you have what is that? You have because of your karma, you have what is that kind of a special place, Vishesha place. Okay, so then Mrit Praveshe Ghatatvam Jahati. So when the pot enters clay, it gives up its what? Partness, its individuality is given up. Isn't that what we all want? Tadeva anupravishat iticha shrutehe na karana anupraveshaha yuktaha. So since it is keeping with all our desires for this oneness, so karana pravesha, the karana entering the karya is all wrong. Iti chet, what if? So we'll beat them up tomorrow. There's plenty of time. Okay. So right now you can go and put your hand in your mouth. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ Hope you all had fun online. I had a lot of fun. Take care. Om.